Okay, this is another update on the S10. You can see the back wheels are on, and the lug nuts actually just barely come to the end of the stud, so there's a whole lot of thread holding them on there, and that's what we're going to run on it on the street. So I can find a different wheel that I like for racing. You can see there's the fuel pump mounted. It's all wired in. I just got to run the lines to it. Everything on the rear end's buttoned up, full of fluid. I put red line diff fluid in it. Brakes are all bled. Got a good pedal. You can see, you're not down through there, but there's one safety loop in. It's got two drive shafts in. U-joints are greased. Everything in here is pretty much done. I'm going to add some gussets to the seat brackets. And then I got to make the back supports for the passenger seat. But everything's wiring, all that's done. Oil's in the motor. It's got comp cams, 1030 braking oil in it, plus a bottle of Z DDP additive. I've got fluid in the transmission where I can start it. I've got to put the cooling lines on it yet, which I've got -8 braided lines, Teflon liner lines, some advanced adapters for it that are 5 foot long, which I'm sure there's plenty long enough to reach. And I've got everything to put all the AN lines together. But then a friend of mine pointed out he found some lime green AN fittings. Company Color Fittings makes them. They're kind of they're a bright lime green. So I'm debating whether or not just to buy all of them up and keep the black ones I got for extras, and just put the green ones up here where you can see things to kind of throw some of the lime green in with it. But I may just go ahead and go with the black ones, because literally the only thing keeping me from firing this up right now is putting the AN lines on everything, putting coolant in it, training lines on it, and then light it, put fuel in the cell and light it off. So we've got the kit from Nitrous Express is here, and I went with a little better kit than the MS-1000. I think the kit I got is a Hitman kit. All the plug wires are on. Thought I was going to have to run shorty plugs, but no, we got everything on. My little recycled wire looms. You can see plenty of room to run up behind the head on both sides. Water pumps right there. It's a Mazir, 55 gallon a minute. It's the biggest remote one they make. And you can see I've got it mounted with the back facing the core support front. I've got a shorter fitting. I bought this. This is actually for a water pump that mounts on the engine. As you can tell, it's longer, so it can come down and get away from the balancer. But I've got a shorter fitting to go in there, 1-inch pipe to -16. I've got the 2 O-ring fittings to come out -16. Will come out of the radiator into the feed. Out of here, these I will snake through and either go behind and under the alternator and behind the belt, over to here to these 2 -16 fittings going into the block. Will come out of there into here. The -10 stuff will run out here to the little radiator. Get the breather lines put on it. I filled it through here with the oil, which it wasn't a problem. It went right down as quick as you could pour it. So there's no issue there. Like I said, those 2 will come over and go down to there. I've got the throttle bracket, which Holly didn't really make anything that would work, so I ended up getting one from as fast EFI as who the bracket is from, to hook the S10 cable in, which You can tell the cable's way long. Well, what I've always done is I just bend a loop in it, and it's always worked fine. Nitrous pressure gauge, fuel pressure gauge up here to measure fuel pressure. Coming into the throttle body is where I'm going to measure it at. And then I've got to get a couple fittings, what I need to come and see to put the nitrous fuel side off of the return line where it's already regulated down, or if I'm going to have to run another regulator. I've got to look into that yet. I'm thinking I'm going to have to put another regulator in it to drop it down. I haven't read nothing in the kit yet. Then I gotta get the support bracket made for this yet, because that little thing I don't like. It's just cheesy looking. And then start cleaning up in here again. But yep, everything's good. Got a good brake pedal. It's got good pedal. So I'm happy with that. Getting closer. I got the grill popped out because I've got to hook the lines on, then mount the damn tranny cooler because everything's just so tight. Was able to keep the catch bottle over here for the radiator. And of course the water pump wiring comes up, there's an inline fuse, and then it runs back and goes in to the switch, and there's a fuse box in there too. And then I have a dedicated fuse box just to the Super Sniper. So hopefully everything works fine. We don't have no leaks, we don't have no issues with the Holley. Of course you got to sit down and go through all the programming before you ever start it, which when I sit down and do the video startup, I'm going to videotape doing all of that. I'll put my phone or whatever in there with me as I go through the menu and load everything in. But everything is good, everything works. We tested the pump just enough to hit it, make sure it come on, because you don't want to run it dry. Fans, everything's good, and my little panel bonding adhesive glued those two things together really nicely. But yeah, I wish there was some way to get rid of this shit, but there's nowhere to hide it. So I was going to try to hide it down under the intake, but the plugs won't go through there. So yeah, it's good. This damn thing carries 60 pounds of oil pressure just winging it over with the starter. So, and it's got a Melodon pump in it, so hopefully we don't have any problems. Everything should be good. I've went over the wiring like 4 or 5 times to make sure I had everything right. I did find one wire I missed. So I'll go over it again 3 or 4 times to make sure everything's good. Fixed the little issue with the drain pan. The oil pan drain plug was seeping. When they put it in the pan at Melodon, somebody cranked it down tight and smashed the shit out of the copper washer, so we replaced it. And I kind of like it because it's magnetic, the plug, so when you pull it out you can let go of it and it'll just stick to the pan. You don't worry about falling in your oil. But nope, she got 8 quarts in the pan and 1 in the filter makes 9. So we should be good to go. I got all this taped over because I seen a field mouse in here last night and I don't need one running up into something. So I got every orifice taped over on everything. So I don't need them getting in there and building a damn nest. Got everything painted underneath. Grandson's here, I'd be out working on it, but got the shifter. I figured out what I want. got it. I'm going to get it mounted. I might try to sneak out here tomorrow evening. Sun's off Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. So hopefully we can get out here between the two of us, corral the grandson, and get a lot of the rest of this buttoned up. All that wiring right there is actually wires are in there what I need for the nitrous controller that is used through the Super Sniper. So that's why that's laying out like that. I just left that whole harness out so I can get the wires out I need. The fuel pump is the Holley 1200-2. It's a dual pump. Pricey little bastard too. But I do have one other thing to the rear end. I do have a brace to go on it. It just welds on and goes across the front to help keep the tubes from twisting. But it's a UPR brace. It's actually for a Mustang, but we're going to make it work on my 8.8. So I've already seen a guy that used it on his S10, so we're going to use it. But I really like these wheels. They're those Jegs. I think they're actually made by, I can't think of the wheel company, Ultimate or whoever makes them, but these are a 15x8 with a 5.5 backspace. And on an S10 I would normally run a 15x8 with a 4.5 backspace, but I added an inch because of the 8.8 even being narrowed is still 3/4 of an inch wider. Sidewall sticks out just a hair. I probably could have went with more than that. You can get a 10 under here with a 6.5, but of course it's going to stick out even more. So it looks a lot worse than what it is. But if you look at it from the side, down the side, you can see just sidewall bulge. It's like flush with the edge of the bed. About the same as it would be if it had an 8 on it. But evidently, I guess with the 8 and the 5.5 is kind of an odd wheel. They don't sell a lot of it. Those were $99 for the rear ones and $119 for the front ones. And the front ones are 4-inch wide. They're in the house. So, and of course, Ford bolt pattern back here and GM bolt pattern up front. And anybody goes to mount tires, I'll tell you something, and it works really good. When you go to put your tires on, instead of using dish soap and water or any other that crap that you could find to use, if you take just plain old Armor All protectant, spray it around the tires. I walked these on with my feet, never put a bar on them. Walked the first speed on, pushed the second one down, pushed it down, just walked it around, popped it right on. And when you go to take them off, you can damn near spray them down and grab the tire and just pull the bead over the wheel. Then once you get the wheel on, just take your rag with a little rubbing alcohol if you're worried about the tire slipping or something, and just run around it and pull the Armor All out. Don't use Simple Green or something like that, because it can mess up the finish on your wheels, especially if they're a bare aluminum or polished aluminum wheel. It'll dull it. Just take some real rubbing alcohol, rub around it, wipe the Armor All off, and then you can air them up. They'll kind of pop a little hard when they go on the wheel, or you can air them up, then go in there and wipe them off afterwards. The stuff will end up eventually coming out of there once the tire gets hot anyway, so it's not like it's going to spin the wheel in the tire. I've never had that happen. But Armor All will let you slip a tire on a wheel just as easy as can be. Works better than Tire Slick. It works better than dish soap and water. It works better than motor. I don't care what you try to use as slick. You put Vaseline on. Armor All works slicker than shit. I've been doing it for like 20 years. And I've never had to use a bar to put a tire on. I just walk them on with my feet. I don't care what size they are. I've done 44-inch mud tires that way, and 275s, and the little skinnies, the same thing. You can just like push them on. It's like damn near doing a bicycle tire. So, but yeah, I think I might go with the green. And then again, I think, well, everything else is black and aluminum. That's kind of the theme I was going for. I did paint this green, if you remember in an earlier video. And you know, everything else is black, but I think the teal green might help set it off a little bit. And then of course the blue, the accent color on the truck was an electric blue pinstripe. That's why I got the blue plug wires, and that's something it's kind of a superstitious thing with me. I've always used Taylor wires since high school, Taylor wires, and I've always run blue spark plug wires on everything. So, and of course those just the way they came, and I had the 2 blue fittings, so I just went ahead and used them because the block was blue, so it's a little more blue. But yeah, that's a temperature sender there. I have an oil pressure gauge on the front of the block. I got an oil pressure gauge hooked to the back of the block. Both of them reach 60 pounds when you hit the starter and turn it over. So I'm figuring it's probably going to carry about 90 cold. It'll probably carry about 80 once it gets hot at an idle. As long as we don't have an issue with it exploding oil filters, we'll be fine. But I just thought I'd make a little update. We got more done to it. So, and then I've got of course I've got an autometer oil filled fuel pressure gauge here that goes to 100 psi, but I've got 2 of those small. They're made by Marshall. I got one I'm gonna put here, and then I got one I'm gonna put back at the fuel pump. And the way we're going to do the fuel pump is -10 line going into it. So I'm going to run the 2 -10 lines from the fuel cell, because it's got 2 inlets and 1 outlet, and it uses 1 pump till it needs the other one, then it kicks it in. I'm going to run 2 -10 to feed it, and then I'm probably going to run a -10 line all the way up to the -8 fittings on the throttle body, and then I'll drop it down to -8 when I get up there, so it's got a good nice -10's half-inch line feeding it. Yank this battery out. This is one of the 2 batteries out of my dump trailer. I need to put it back in. I got a red top Optima to go in here, so because that battery there is just, it takes all it can do to, yeah, you can't crank on it very long, it'll run it dead. But yeah, hopefully everything goes good. You'll find out when I do, because I'm going to videotape it. Like I said, I'm not going to do one of them already messed with it and then first start and it fires right up and everything's fine. You know, these are usually pretty easy. You know, they're set enough to where they'll fire up and run. And then you menu, put it in learn mode. Once it gets up to 160 degrees, it goes into learn mode, and you can take it out and drive it around and start doing things with it, and it should start learning on its own. So we'll see how it goes. If it starts giving me trouble, I'm gonna rip it all off, and I'm telling you now, I'm gonna rip it all off. If it starts giving me a bunch of shit, I'm gonna go get the tunnel ram out of the basement. I'm gonna put it on here. I'm gonna put 2 650s on it, mechanical secondary carbs. I already got an MSD, and I already got an MSD box I can put back on it. I'll keep the fuel pump, just regulate it down, and put a return line back on it. I already spent $390 on the fuel pump. I'm gonna use it. It's gonna get used. But yeah, I've rambled enough. I just thought I'd make a little update for everybody before I went in for the night. But hopefully get to hear it make some noise and piss off some neighbors, because I almost bet you it's going to be loud, and we're probably going to get a little flame out the exhaust when you let off of it. And that's good. We know when we spray it, we're going to get big old donkey flames coming out of it. But then the final thing will be, the very final thing is, I'll paint the hood, put it on it. It's got a 6-inch pin-on cow hood for it. and then I'll call my buddy from Safe Light and have him come out and put a new windshield in it, because that's the original windshield to pitted anyway. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a crack up to here. I dropped a socket and was trying to fish it out, and I reached down and got it, and I rolled my knuckles up like this, and I put too much pressure on the windshield. Pow! So, and before you say anything, yeah, there's no VIN number. VIN number's right there. Replacement identification number. State put that. Well, they told. Oh, they give it to me. Told me to put it in the door jamb. Anyway, that's it. I'm going in. Everybody be safe. COVID shit's still out there. Can't believe anything you hear about it. Government, everything's a mess. People rioting and shit. Just stay safe. Keep your shit locked up. Buy lots of ammo. Do what you need to do to stay safe. And God bless everybody. And hopefully the next video, or maybe one more, then the next one after that, will be this thing making some noise. So, and all you guys that watch my videos, go over to Budget Build Speed. Check out that guy's blue S10. Sub to him. The guy's cool as hell. The truck's cool as hell. You know, we all got to stick together. Later.